Hi, it's Chris Watkin here, and I'm back again with another story of another estate agent who started his own estate agency in the last 12 to 18 months. I'm joined today by Craig Armstrong, who started his own estate agency in Essex. Thanks for joining me today, Craig.
You're welcome, Chris. Thank you for having me.
What I'd like to do is find out your story of why you became an estate agent and subsequently why you decided to set up your own, the fears, the frustrations, the hopes and the dreams, the roller coaster of life. Is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
You left school when?
A long time ago, that 98, 99.
Okay. And you didn't go into a estate agency?
No, I went through retail, factory work, and things like that.
Okay.
Um,
And when did you see the bright lights of estate agency?
I think I'd probably seen it around 2005. Finally took the plunge. I was late in learning to drive, so I became an estate agent March 2007.
Okay. But what was it that about estate agency you thought, do you know, I want to be an estate agent?
I think it was the same thing that everyone sees initially. Nice cars, sharp suits, that.
Okay, so you've been in retail and you've been doing some manual work with metal. That's quite a jump to go to be an estate agent. Is it really was the fancy shoes,
Yeah,
fancy
it was
cars?
like that's what I want to be. That's what I want to do.
Was there some friends that were estate agents, or was it you literally just saw the nice, sharp suited? Think I want some of that
I want
shit.
some of that, yeah. And just took the plunge, and
What? So you became a neg?
yeah, trainee neg 2007.
Right. So the housing market was on fire at the time. Okay.
Yeah, for about the first 6 months. Yeah.
Okay. So were you still living at home at this point?
Nope. I had a mortgage.
Hold on a second. So hold on. You had a home. Did you live with someone at this point?
Yeah, yeah,
And you just you must have taken a pay cut.
yeah.
What did your partner say?
Go for it.
Wow. But you saw all the accoutrements and the nice things, and you thought, I want some of that.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that been you throughout since childhood? I see it. I want it. I'm gonna have it.
Yeah. I thought you got to take the element of risk, and there's risks in everything. The risk in staying in a nice, comfortable factory job where you're rolling at 8 o'clock, finish at 5 o'clock.
Was it a good job?
Not really. Didn't enjoy it.
Okay.
Wasn't fun.
Decent money though.
Yeah, it was okay.
But is it like most things? Is most people's expenditure rises in line with their income?
Of course it does.
So, you went in at really at the shallow end of estate agency as a trainee neg. You enjoyed it?
Yes.
Okay. Can you remember when the housing market hit?
Yes.
The crash?
Yeah, I remember it very well. September 2007. I think it was probably around my birthday. So I think it was around the 17th, 18th of September that year. And I remember the whole company getting called into a meeting and being told, I need you to all of you just to sell one house a week to keep us ticking over. And that was down to sort of bare bones after 6 months in the industry. So I think it was a nice baptism of fire almost. It taught you a different aspect.
What did you learn from with the backs against the wall?
That you might have to make a lot more, certainly now I see it, having gone through the recent years, you could make 100 phone calls to book 20 viewings. Nowadays you can book 20 viewings without even getting out of your bed now, can't you? It was the aspect of learning how to work a viewing, how to structure a viewing, how to just going through the whole process from reviewing this one, and this one. I learned a lot on door knocking. I became a very, very good door knocker quite quickly. Okay.
What tips would you give to the people out there? Obviously, anyone in Harlow, don't listen to this. What would your techniques be?
So my first port of call, give it a knock. Hello, I'm Craig from X-Agent. Here's my business card. Where are you moving to? And just build it in from there. They'll either tell you to go away or they'll stand there and have a chat with you.
And what would you do? Slag off their agent or try and help them find the next one?
Help them find somewhere. I think they've made a decision on who they trust with their most valuable asset. Going and slagging their decision off is all you're doing. going, how can I help you? You've got to build their trust. So,
So you became an estate agent quite late on in your mid-20s then?
yeah,
Do you think that actually did you some good?
I think so.
That you had almost some life experience?
I was a homeowner. I'd dealt with estate agents. I had one experience of an estate agent pulling up, jumping on his brakes because he realised we were outside the house, music blaring, sunglasses on. And it just, those things taught me how I didn't want to be as an estate agent and enabled me to build trust and rapport, I think.
Okay. So you were with the King's Group for 5 years until 2012. Did you work up the ladder then?
Yeah, I was branch manager by 2009.
Okay, so you were doing well. Well done.
Yeah, and then, yeah, I left in 2012.
Can you remember the first time that they gave you the keys to the office and said you're running the show?
Yeah, I do. It all happened quite quickly. I'd gone from a senior negotiator in the Harlow office to working in Enfield, and then was moved back to another office, and then 2 days later told, right, there's a little shuffle around going on and you're running Harlow, which is what I wanted, and it was nice.
And a good relationship with your boss? Was it an area manager, director?
Yeah, area manager at the time. Yeah, good relationship with them.
Okay. But what made you want to leave?
I think as I developed as an estate agent, I'd taken members of staff through to a point where other offices were circling. He's a good member of staff, and Harlow, being a smaller property value office, was turning less income in that respect. So they would go and work in Walthamstow, Edmonton, where your property prices were higher, and it sort of got that, hang on, you're giving me these guys that are coming in with little or no experience, probably like myself, and training them up to here for them to go to the bigger offices. Let me keep my staff, let me grow the office, and they didn't let it happen.
How did it make you feel that you almost felt that the rug was being pulled underneath your feet?
Frustrated, I think. Yeah.
Okay. So what made you leave? Was it that frustration?
Yeah, yeah, I think so. And I'm not sure what they work now, but we were working 6 days, 9 till 7. So it was only a Sunday off, and yeah, there was a lot of frustrations.
So you went to work for a firm called Russell Property in Bishop Stortford, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Did they come to you? Did you go to them?
Bit of both, recruitment.
Okay.
Talked to recruitment agencies, and yeah, this position's available. Couple of chats, and yeah, I think March 2012 I was sat at another desk in Bishop Stortford working for Russell's.
Okay. You're only there a year.
Yeah.
Initially, was it good?
I think intentions for everyone were good. I think it was probably just one of those situations where perhaps the fit wasn't right on both sides.
Okay. What do you think you could have done differently?
I think I probably didn't know enough about their market initially. I wanted to be the hustler, I suppose, that I'd become in the market that I knew. I didn't adapt to that side of it.
Because let's be honest, if you don't mind me saying, Harlow is how. If you had to describe Harlow as a supermarket brand, what would you describe it as? In the context of North London, Hertfordshire.
Yeah, I'd probably put it Aldi.
Tesco's, Aldi.
Yeah.
Okay.
Lower end.
Bishop Stortford. What would you describe Bishop?
Waitrose.
Waitrose.
Yeah.
And would it be fair to say that the Aldi techniques which made you who you were, didn't work so well in Bishop Stortford?
I think they could have worked. I think that possibly that wasn't the direction that the brand wanted to be, perhaps. And it just, I say, after a few months, it just the fit just didn't feel.
Did it feel like you felt like you were a square peg in a round hole?
Yeah, and I'll be fair to when they recruited me, the line was, we want a square peg to make our round hole square. But between the both of us, I think, and yeah, after a year,
they said they wanted to change, but when it actually came to it, they didn't want to change.
I think I was probably the wrong change.
Okay.
I think they probably wanted a different change to that.
Okay. So you then went to work for Countrywide.
Yeah. Wasn't there that long. Again, I had a few options when I went to Countrywide. And I think at the time I probably took the wrong call there, and I didn't stick around to see it. I'd sort of learnt that lesson at Russell's, and it was a case of, okay, there's no point me sticking around here trying to make something work if I don't want it to work. And the opportunity came to move on, and I took it.
And you went to work for who?
I went to work for Spice of Heart in Harlow.
Back to your hometown.
Yes,
How was that?
loved every minute of it. I knew the people. Harlow's one of those towns. I can't go shopping without seeing somebody that I know or someone that knows someone. So
How did it feel that you were branch manager before and now you were back down to Lister?
I became a better lister because I've been a branch manager.
Okay.
And to be fair, even going through the process to branch manager, the companies I worked for never really had a lister role. It was you were a negotiator and the manager listed. And I'm a very good lister. That's where I feel my forte is.
Why are you a good lister?
I think I have empathy for people. I like to understand why people are moving. I'm not a KPI chaser. It doesn't bother me.
But you work for Hart, which are very famous for their KPIs.
Mm-hmm.
Did you just get on, do your job and the numbers came?
Yeah, sometimes I wouldn't hit them. It wasn't something that worried me. I earned them a lot of money.
How did you cope with seeing, let's say a month you didn't hit numbers? How did you cope with?
You look back over what you could have done, what you didn't do. It's all internal. You go back over those. Where did I miss opportunities this month? Did I do everything I needed to do?
Did you get, let's just say you had 4 great months and then 1 bad month. Were you getting the praise when it was due and the bollockings?
Yeah, I think I got, because it would often be I'd have 4, 5, 6 great months and then a bad month, and I think I got that element of that's a one-off, whereas I know others may not have. But I think you've got to deliver consistently.
How do you not hit? I think a lot of valuers judge themselves on their ability to hit their targets, which is, you're right, is very internal. How did you? Is that comes from age or the fact that you weren't an estate agent from day one?
I think it comes from a bit of both. I think I was older. That sort of thing just doesn't impress me in general. I'm not a material person.
What does impress you?
Good, honest people.
Okay.
I like that. And that's one of the things I look for day to day. If I'm sitting with a client and I think, do you know what? They're not my client. But
you couldn't do that when you worked for a corporate.
No, it's a frustration.
Has that changed? I know we're going to get to it why you made the move, but has that made you a happier person? The ability to decide if they're for you as opposed to you're for them.
Yeah, and there's been times when you're in corporate estate agency where you're sitting there, you can take the listing, but it's going to be one of those. I only sell my house if I can get £500,000 for it, and it's not worth 500. And you just go, yeah, I'll take that. Well, yeah, it's worth 500. You sign the contract, you go back, and then 2 weeks later you're phoning up for a price reduction. I'm now in a position where if they're saying that, well, look, I'm not the agent for you. Go somewhere else. If it doesn't work out, come back to me.
And do they come back to you?
Yeah.
But you're telling them not what they want to hear.
Imagine if the doctor just told you what you wanted to hear when you went to see him or her. It isn't always about being told what you want to hear. Sometimes you have to be told what you need to hear.
You got made branch manager in the autumn of 17 and
Yes.
moved to Leytonstone, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. How was that? Were you still valuing or were you branch managing at the same?
I stepped away from valuing as the time went on there.
Did you miss it?
Yeah.
You really are happy on the sofa, aren't you?
Yeah. This is where I want to be. I go back to, and I know lots of people find meeting new people quite strange, quite weird. It makes them very anxious. During my school years, I moved from Harlow to Southend halfway through school. So I went into a school I'd never been into, never even seen the school until the day I went there. Here you go, here's 1,500 new people to get to know. And I think that steadied me in as an estate agent, actually.
When did you decide that you wanted to start your own estate agency?
That all happened quite quickly. I think I'd seen one of your videos, to be fair, on self-employed agency, probably around 2018, 19, and I'd already started having those conversations at home.
What sort of conversations were you having at home?
Where does my career go from here? Do I end up being a very successful branch manager within a corporate?
Okay.
Don't mind saying, I'm pushing 40 now, and I felt it's another 3-4 years. It's probably too late.
What did your partner say when you're having these conversations?
Go for it. I trust you. You're not going to do anything that would jeopardise you.
But surely not bringing any income in for 3 to 6 months was a bit scary, wasn't it?
Yeah, I had enough income to support a year.
You think that's important to put some money aside?
Definitely. Yeah, you've got to be able to. Otherwise, what you get into that cycle of is you're chasing the pound note again, which is basically saying it's chasing a KPI. You then move away from your values because you'll just take anything on for the sake of taking it on to try. I felt having that income there to support and pay my bills meant I was able to still be
The person the true to yourself.
Yeah.
I don't want to know the amount, but how many months had you said? How many months?
12 months.
12 months. And would you say that it's worth going through hell for a couple of years to save some money?
Yeah, I think so.
What other fears did you have about starting your own agency? Looking stupid in front of your friends, failing?
Yeah, failing. Yeah, I had a conversation with a family member that was very close to me that made it very much feel like that.
Why? What did they say?
I got the feeling they felt that I was after money to support my venture, and yeah, it was just one of those conversations.
But you weren't.
No, this is what I'm doing. This is this is where I'm going. This is what I'm doing.
Do you think just to help the boys and girls out there in estate agency land, do you think you could have framed that conversation better so they didn't think you were out on the money?
Yeah, I think the conversation ended quite abruptly, and we went home. And then we had the conversation about where it was at. I think, looking back on it now, I could have told them that I've got the money. I don't need...
You were almost needing a blessing from someone that you looked up to. And so probably in hindsight, you should have said, I'm saying this, but I don't need any money.
Yeah.
Yeah, big tip for you out there, boys and girls. Okay. Did you have any other difficult conversations?
No, that was the main one. I've always been a person that I see that's how I want to do it. I always do my research. It's never something that I'll jump into blind, but that's how I want to do it, and that's how I'm going to go and do it. And I've done all right. And I think there's a lot of people around me that he's done all right. He's done all right previously.
Okay. Does that belief come from inside? Does that come from your parents? Your grandparents?
I think it comes from a lot of people that have been around me.
Okay. Who has made a huge difference to your life?
My wife, massively, massive rock, and her family have been brilliant. Her mum and dad particularly, absolutely brilliant, amazing support. Always, go for it. Even going right back to 2007.
You're the son they never had.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, it would be nice. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, but I go back to 2007. Yeah, take the risk. You're never going to know.
What would you say to anyone that doesn't have that support either from their parents or parents-in-law?
Give me a call. I'll be it. I help.
It's a big thing to say. Why do you do that?
Because if it makes someone else's life better, easier, enables them to try something, then why not?
I suppose it's all paying it forward, isn't it? So you started your own agency, 12 months of cash in the bank. How long have you now been running your agency?
For just over 12 months, 4th of August 2020.
Okay, so now we're filming this in November 21. I don't want to turn this into an advert either for David Lee Estate Agents or Self-Employed Estate Agency,
Okay, yeah.
all right? And let's be honest, there's plenty of bullshit merchants out there and fluff and things like that. All
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
I can't be dealing with happy fucking valley. Excuse my French.
yeah,
all
like
right.
that.
Yeah. I want to know warts and all. What would you do differently if you had your 15 months again?
What I would have done differently is I would have engineered a transfer from the Leytonstone branch to the Harlow branch for about 6 to 9 months prior to going self-employed.
And building up what, a personal brand?
Yeah, building up. I've got a lot of people over the years in Harlow that I've sold houses for or to, that time away, I lost those contacts. I've got this whole new market that I'm trying to work. So I would do that and operate within the area that you're currently working, where you've currently got a database. 4th of August 2020, I had a 0 database. I've had to build that myself.
Okay. And we're not suggesting for 1 minute that you steal your company's database, just building up relationships with people. They can't take that away from you.
No.
Okay. Anything else?
No.
What would you, you've seen other agents come and go, both in David Lee and others. What's made you successful whilst others haven't? I mean, you said before you talked about your business generation skills.
Yeah, I am a good. I've always been very good at door knocking, to the point where I think that's earned me employment in the past.
Okay.
I certainly know it was when I was at Hart. One of the interesting things that one of the first things the branch manager had a conversation with me on day one about. Yeah, just business generation, being at it, grit, determination, hanging on a bit longer than someone else.
Because there's plenty of valuers out there who are great on the sofa, but not actually getting themselves onto the sofa, which is business gen.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to people watching this?
In terms of business gen, go and be there. Be where your clients are hanging out. Be talking to people, and don't be pushy. You don't need to be pushy to generate business. You can generate business just by being familiar to people. The more we see people, the more we trust them.
Well, we talk about this on social media, school gates, having cups of coffee, talking to business people.
Local rugby club. Yeah, local football club. Be down there. You see lots of estate agents, and you see it a lot on social media platforms. Oh, I've been in the office from 8 o'clock this morning till 9 o'clock. Okay. How many of your clients have been in your office? How many people who are not clients have been in your office?
Okay. So get out there, talk to people, buy a few pints, have a few pints.
Shake a few hands. Well, we can shake hands now, can't we?
Yeah, we can.
We shake a few hands and just be there to talk to people.
And you as a person, Craig, are you happier?
Yes.
And if I had your wife or your parents or parents-in-law, would they also say you're a happier person?
Yeah.
Are you earning more money?
I'm probably earning similar money.
Is it about the money?
No.
What is it about?
It's about being able to have dinner with my wife and children on a daily basis, near enough. I get to choose if I'm having dinner with them. It's about the family and making that more of a balance. There's like I say, I've earned some very, very good money whilst employed, but leaving the house at 6, 7 o'clock in the morning and come back 8, 9 o'clock at night, I'm not benefiting from it.
What would be your final message to anyone who's sat on the fence wondering to make the move to open up their own estate agency?
I think if they're sat on the fence, they're thinking about doing it. They'd probably in 10 years' time regret not giving it a go. The worst case scenario is you go back to employed estate agency.
Thank you for your time today.
You're very welcome.
Just to confirm, no one from David Lee or Craig has paid anything to be on this sofa. As you know, I'm a huge fan of the self-employed estate agency model, and it's important for me to tell people stories. That's why Craig is here. Thank you for coming today, Craig. I believe it is right for some people, not right for everyone. But thank you for your time. Thank you for your honesty. Thank you for taking the time and trouble to come up the M11 to share your story with the boys and girls of estate agency, so you can make the best decision for them, for yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks for your time today.
You're very welcome. Thank you, Chris.